There you go. So I want to say hello, Makenzie. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Although, where are you right now? Where are you located?
I am in Southwest Virginia.
Oh, okay. So we're having like I'm about an hour and 20 minutes outside of Nashville, and we are having some wild winds out there. I'm not really sure what that's about. We've had weird weather this year.
Yeah, we keep getting a bunch of snow.
Yeah. Are you in the mountains?
Yes, pretty much in the mountain area.
Right.
I'm like right where I live, I'm right on the line of Virginia and West Virginia.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's even further north.
Mm, I'm not really in Northern Virginia. We're just kind of at the bottom of Southwest Virginia.
Right.
So kind of in the middle, like
What is the nearest big town?
I'm about an hour and a half away from Bristol.
Oh, from Bristol. Okay. And that would be Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
So
My second home state.
your second home state. Do you want to move to Tennessee?
Yes, I do. Very much so.
Do you mind me asking how old you are?
I will be 20 in, today is the second, I'll be 20 in 2 weeks.
Oh, you have a birthday coming up. Well, happy birthday in advance. That's so cool. I would have thought younger. So that's a good thing in this business.
Yeah, that's the first I've had somebody say younger because the majority of people think I'm older.
No, but I've been telling people all day, well, I'm old. So, everybody looks young to me. Yeah, I would have thought like 17. So,
I'll take
okay.
it.
So I'm going to tell you what happened. When we get ready to do interviews, we ask for one sheets, any kind of information we can get for the prospective interviewee, and we get sent these things. So I'm listening to you and I'm going, my Lord, this girl sounds like Leanne Rhymes.
And I get that so much.
And I go to your YouTube and there you have Blue. And I was like, well, there you go.
Yes, I can honestly say that I've been performing since about 15 years old. And, I've been all throughout Virginia, West Virginia, Tennessee. I'll be going to Kentucky at some point, down in Indiana and all that. And she is the one artist that I get equated to the most.
Definitely there's a lot of similarities. Now, let me ask you, did you listen to her a lot when you were young?
No, actually, I was a very big, and I still am, I'm a very, very big Miranda Lambert fan. I love her. I love Carrie Underwood, but I also like the older country. I love Loretta Lynn as well. I'd love to meet her one day. But, I just kind of go here and there with all of my artists, but I do really like Miss Leanne Rhymes, and I like a lot of her covers that she does as well.
Yeah. Well, she's talented, and she's actually a really good actress too. So she's kind of branched out there, and she was doing this. She was singing since she was little,
like
really little, Okay. So when did you know that music was the path that you wanted to follow?
So I started singing when I was 4 years old back in church with my mama, and she had heard me sing one day, and she had told me, she was like, Makenzie, you have such a great voice, such a God-given talent, and she wanted me to start singing at church. So I would sing at church every single week, and I would learn different songs, and I really grew a passion for my singing because I've been around music my entire life. My family is very musical, to say the least. And I really started to grow a passion for it probably when I was about 12 years old. And that's when I had asked my mom to go to a music school. And, I started learning piano at age 10. And then from that point on, my passion has just grown much stronger. And I cannot imagine my life without music, to say the least.
Wow, 4 years old. So all right. So did you teach yourself guitar?
No. Like I said, I started playing piano when I was 10. And then I always told myself that I was never going to learn a stringed instrument. I don't know why. I just always said I wasn't. And one day I was watching Camp Rock on TV, and I was like, maybe it's not terrible to learn another instrument. So my mom got me my first guitar when I was about 14, and I took lessons, and it came very natural to me, very easy. So I love playing the guitar the most now, I would say. I love listening to piano, but guitar is definitely my primary instrument that I like to use.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you, what Do you remember what brand the guitar was? And was it
It
full
was
size or junior?
a baby Taylor.
A baby Taylor. Whoa, she went right to the top of the line.
Yeah, because I have really, really small hands. I know it's probably really hard to see through the,
No, I can see.
yeah,
Hmm.
but my ring size is actually a 4.5. So
Okay.
yeah, I have very small hands. So they had gotten me a guitar when I was about 10, and it was a bigger one, and I had a lot of trouble playing it just because my hands were so small. So she got me a baby Taylor, and that really helped a lot with just learning and going up from there to a bigger guitar, which is the one I have now, which is a Gibson. So if anybody out there is learning guitar, I definitely recommend a baby Taylor.
Right. Well, I don't think people realize, unless you've tried to learn guitar, people don't realize the difference in the width and the thickness of the necks. And,
Yes.
if you can't get your hand around the neck of a guitar, you're never going to be able to do the correct fingering. You're not going to be able to do it. And I'm 5'1", and I have baby size. You want to talk about little hands? I got baby size hands, and I can't. I have to use very small or children size guitars in order to try to play. And so I know what you're talking about. I'm going to ask you a couple of. Well, I'm going to ask you one. I like to ask some silly questions just to get inside people and get a feel of what they like. So, dogs or cats?
Oh, that's so tricky because
I know.
I have a cat. I
Mhm.
actually have her downstairs right now because anytime I do interviews or anything like that, she
She'll be up
likes
there.
to come in and steal the spotlight.
Yeah.
But oh, that's so tricky. I volunteer at my local animal shelter, which is primarily dogs. There are some cats, but I don't even think I'd be able to pick because I've loved animals since I was a little girl, and I have no preference. I love all of them, and
Oh,
I always try to get all of them to love me.
okay.
So
So you might have diplomat in your future. You're very diplomatic. I can't answer that. I love them equally. But I guess since you have a cat, and I don't hear a dog, you have a cat in the
no,
house.
I do not have a dog. It took a bit for me to convince my parents to let me bring her to my house, but they've
Wow.
fallen in love with her. So I just have a cat. One day I may bring home a dog from the shelter and just not tell them.
What is the cat's name?
Her name is Raven.
Raven?
Mhm.
Oh, that's very pretty. So now I'm going to want to see the cat. Look what you did. Now I'm going to want to see, is the cat all black?
Yeah, she is black and she has some white,
Well,
but she's mainly black.
you do know that the black cats are the cats that are least adoptable.
Yes, I've heard that so much, and that really breaks my heart because they
Hmm.
are such sweeties. Let's see. She's downstairs right now, but she is my little baby, like I like to call her. That's what she looks like.
Aw, how old is
Yeah.
she?
She will be 2 in June.
Oh, so she still is young. She's still young.
Mm.
Although I think at two they consider them like basically they just hit adulthood
Yeah.
in the cat realm. So you may see some more mature behavior. When they're younger, they can be a bit wild and jumping through the air and all kinds of stuff. And then they start. All right. Well, you've already talked about your musical inspirations. Who you like, and you've already told us Miranda and Carrie. Country music, I'm assuming, because when I listen to you, I mean, you're very soulful.
Thank you. I get
You,
that a lot.
you do. I mean, you're very soulful. There's a lot of soul coming out of you. So, but I mean, I also get a touch of bluegrass too, and country. So you're very unique. Is there any other genres of music that you like that you might want to dip your toes in?
Well, it's kind of funny that you mentioned bluegrass because I was in my first band and I was the lead singer of it at like 16 years old. We started the band when I was 15, but we didn't start doing shows till I was 16. And the bassist and the mandolinist loved me doing bluegrass. They said that I sounded a lot like Miss Alison Krauss, and I
Right.
take that as a compliment as
Yep.
well. But I don't know. I've never really gotten too much into bluegrass. I've not really dipped my toes into that much, but I do very much like the soul aspect of music as well. Like I love Etta James. I like Aretha Franklin, Chris Stapleton, all of them. So I may try to get more into the soul blues element as well. So that may be something I would like to grab into a little
Right.
bit.
So you're songwriting, right? I was going to ask you about college. Are you, because I actually thought you were younger, like getting ready to graduate type of thing. Are you in college or are you just following music full time?
I am a full-time college student. I've been going to college since the year 2020, and I'm in my last semester, and then I'll graduate with my associates in general studies music. But after that, I will be taking a break to do music full-time because it's already a bit stressful to be doing full-time college and full-time music as well. And with my schedule this year, I'm completely booked out to December. So it's been a very, very stressful thing. But after I graduate, then I will be stepping back from that and focusing more on music.
Will you have, because I know you're talking about wanting to move to Nashville. Will you be coming alone or do you think you'll bring, will your family be moving with you?
My family, my mom and dad have fallen in love with Tennessee. I remember growing up, my dad always used to say that he wanted to move to the beach. And as he's gotten older, he's like, I would like to retire in a cabin down in Tennessee. I don't know if I could live in Nashville. I would love to maybe think of living in Nashville one day, but maybe starting out like more calmer, like in maybe Knoxville or something and making my way up there. But my family has definitely loved Tennessee for a bit now, so they probably just come along with me.
Well, I moved from Long Island, New York to, I'm a songwriter as well, and I wanted to live in Nashville or the area, in Tennessee. And I didn't know anybody, and I had a sister in Beaufort, Georgia. So instead, we moved to Beaufort, Georgia, and we started commuting back and forth to get to know people in Nashville and network and whatnot. And we ended up, it's a long story, and this is your interview, not mine, so we don't need to go into it. But we ended up being in Georgia for 12 years and then moving to Tennessee. And I'm in a place called McMinnville, and we're about an hour and 20 minutes outside of Nashville. And when I look out my front door, I have mountains and it's beautiful. I'm like in a valley. And if you look up on the internet, McMinnville, we have the caverns where people perform in the caves. It's very cool.
Oh, great.
It's very cool. This is a very cool place. So you might want to check it out on the internet and you'll be like, wow, it's very cool. And I've spoken to a lot of people about this place today because it's a very unique town. And, we ended up just falling in love with it. We were in a place called Liberty First, and we were wanted to buy a house. So we started shopping around. Everything kept leading us here to McMinnville, everything. And boom, that's it. Now it's 10 years. We've been here 10 years, and we love it. So, because I couldn't live in the city, even though I'm from New York, I could not live in the city. I don't want to live. I'm not a city girl. And that sounds so funny coming from somebody from New York.
That's how I am. I've been to New York and I fell in love with the city, but I don't know if I could ever live there.
It's too stressful.
Chaotic.
It's chaotic and it's stressful. And, everybody's always you want to talk about people being in a hurry. I mean, it's just endless, so it's terrible. So where do you see yourself 5 years from now? So, say 25, where do you see yourself at age 25?
Well, I hope like any other artist out there, I hope I make it. I hope that I make a decent living for myself, to say the least, in the music industry, where I don't have to worry about maybe even going back to college or doing anything like that. So, and also I'm very, very, I love that my music helps people and can touch people in a different way. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I strive for with my music. So even if I don't make it, as they say, I would still love for my music to be able to go around the nation to touch people in times of need.
Right. Well, there's so many ways to do it today, like, so you could move to Nashville and you could get a job working for Music Cares or in, a publishing house or and start go. Have you ever done a songwriters night?
Mm-mm.
No. So, I mean, that's another place to start where you can move to Nashville, get an actual day job, and then start doing writers nights and network. I mean, networking is really, it's where you start, so it's, and then you could support yourself while working in the music industry.
Right.
When you do, and I know it sounds cliche, but when you do something that you love, it never feels like work. It just doesn't. And I mean, you do have a natural talent. I hear it, when you're singing. Okay, so Maybe is your current single.
Yes.
Do you have an album in the works?
I am currently working on an EP, so I hope that can be out here in the next couple of months.
Okay, so an EP, standardly, it used to be 6. Is it still 6 or is it 4 now? Songs.
I'm striving for 6.
Okay.
Or more. So.
Yeah, I mean, it changes. It's kind of like, okay, EP, and there was a time it was, it has to be 6. It's a 6-pack, and then it went down to 4, and I'm like, okay, so who's making these rules? Is there a rule maker that actually, this is what an EP is? Because I've seen it both ways. So I think 6 is a good number. Everything is, so you're an indie artist currently, right? Right. So pros and cons to that. The pros are you call your own shots. You get to do things your way. Cons is that you don't have the, the I don't want to say the power or the finances behind being able to get your songs on radio. I mean, we all know that that is a big way for people to learn who you are. Let me ask you, are you on TikTok?
I am, but TikTok is such a very interesting platform because I could post a video of myself singing a song that I'm pouring my heart into, and it could barely get even 100 views, but I could get on there and there could be a dude putting toast in a toaster and have like 3 million likes. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I should do that next time.
Right. Yeah. What? I'm going to sing my song while putting toast in the toaster.
Yeah, it's very interesting, but they always say it's about the algorithm. So I'm going to need to figure out what that algorithm is.
Right. And it's, Fancy Like, I mean, that became a hit because of TikTok. I'm trying to think of Alvy, My Boy, that one became a hit because of TikTok. So Fleetwood Mac had to come back because of TikTok, so it's kind of like these new things come out, and if you hit, it's almost like a lottery.
Yeah, if you hit the right moment at the right time, then you could be set.
Yes, you could be discovered from like one song, like that you didn't even think was a great song. I mean, when you look at well, My Boy is actually a pretty good song, but like Fancy Like, it's kind of silly. Sorry, but it is. It is. And then Applebee's ran with it, and so then it was on the Applebee's commercials, and it's like, wow. And now he's put out another silly song that and he literally says in the song, I am writing these words so that you're hoping radio will play this song, like he literally says those things, and it's kind of silly. Yeah. Okay, so Maybe is something you wrote.
Maybe is a song that I worked on. So my duo partner, which is the guy that does backup vocals and guitar at my duo shows, and he's also the drummer in my band. His name is Shane Begley. Me and him, we've been co-writing a little bit now, and he had introduced the song to me a couple months ago. It'd probably be almost a year now, I would say. And he's a phenomenal songwriter, singer, musician, the whole 9 yards. And he has pitched so many songs to me, and he had pitched this one to me one day, but we had so much going on during that time that we kind of just sat it on the table downstairs and was working on our other stuff. And my mom, she was like, y'all need to work up the song because I think it'll be a good one. So me and him had sat down one evening and I looked at it and I changed around some of the wording and I changed some of the accompaniment and we worked on that. And we were like, okay, I think this is good enough to go into the studio. So we went down to Knoxville and recorded it in a studio. We shot a music video to it, which was really, really cool. And my mom and me had submitted it to the Josie Music Awards, and it had gotten nominated for an award.
Right.
And we went down in September, and we won that award for that song. So that was incredible. It was an incredible experience, to say the least. We were very shocked.
It's a lot of fun. Is the co-writer the guy in the video?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, see, I kind of felt that.
Well, I'm trying to think. There's two guys that are in the video. There's the one with the storyline, who's named Austin, and then there is Shane, which is the one playing the guitar, and he's the one that wrote that.
That wrote the song. Okay, so the other guy's just a friend or an actor?
Yes, he was a friend of the promotion label that I was with at the time. He was a friend of his, so he got him to come down. And bless his heart, he had actually been sick the day that we were recording that music video. He had gotten food poisoning, but he still came and he kicked butt, to say the least.
Oh, that had to be tough too, because you have to act like you feel okay, you know. Although it was kind of, you know, he had a broken heart anyhow, so maybe it kind of it kind of fit, you know.
Yeah,
so.
I appreciated his work ethic.
Yeah, really, that had to be difficult. Okay, so what's next for you? Well, we're doing this interview because you're going to be a country radio seminar. Is this your first CRS?
Yes, this will be my first CRS event.
Has anybody told you what to expect?
I actually did see a post the other day about some of the artists that are going to be there. I saw like Lady A will be there. I'm trying to think of other ones. Lady A was just the one that caught my attention. Right. It was a picture. But I'm very excited to be attending this event and getting to meet other singer-songwriters and all that kind of stuff. So I'm definitely looking forward to it and to be back in Nashville.
Right.